A Florida man just sold his house in 5 days using ChatGPT. No real estate agent, no professional help.
So this is the house. We're really going to miss it.
After 15 years in his Cooper City home, Robert Levine decided it was finally time to sell. But instead of contacting a real estate agent, he turned to the power of the prompt. ChatGPT.
I really wanted to challenge myself to use AI for the entire journey, not just piecemeal, every step along the way.
The married father of 3 says he used artificial intelligence for everything. The planning, the pricing, the marketing, even the paint.
We repainted a couple of rooms in the house because ChatGPT said that's where you're going to get the biggest return on investment. The most important thing it did for us was build out a timeline. Here's when you need to start packing your house.
ChatGPT helped Robert design the marketing materials like his open house handout and the online listing. Then told him how to get his home listed on the MLS, the multiple listing service, scheduled his showings, and suggested the best day to list his home.
We ended up listing on a Tuesday.
Turned out to be terrific timing.
And I think within the first 72 hours, we had 5 offers on the home already.
5 days after listing their home, they had a signed contract. A contract generated by, you guessed it, ChatGPT.
This isn't science fiction. This happened in March 2026, and it's sending shockwaves through the entire real estate industry. But here's what makes this story really important. This isn't just about real estate. This is about every professional service you can think of. Lawyers, accountants, consultants, financial advisors. If your job involves knowledge and expertise, this story is a warning shot aimed directly at you. Today, we're diving deep into exactly what happened, how one homeowner used artificial intelligence to replace a real estate agent, what this means for the future of professional services, and whether websites like Zillow and Realtor.com are about to become obsolete. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this 5-day house sale might be the most important business story of 2026, and what it means for your career, your investments, and the services you pay for. Let's get into it. The story that's breaking the internet. Meet Robert Levine. He's a married father of 3, living in Cooper City, Florida. He lived in his house for 15 years. When it came time to sell, he made a decision that seemed crazy to everyone around him. He decided to let ChatGPT handle the entire selling process. No real estate agent, no professional staging company. Just him, his computer, and an artificial intelligence tool that anyone can access for $20 a month. Here's what happened next. ChatGPT created a complete selling schedule. It told Robert exactly when to start packing. It analyzed his home and recommended which specific rooms to repaint for maximum return on investment. It created all his marketing materials. It wrote the listing description. It designed handouts for the open house. The artificial intelligence even told him the best day of the week to list the property. It suggested Tuesday. Robert followed the advice. Then ChatGPT helped coordinate showing schedules. It drafted contracts. It guided Robert through negotiations. 5 days later, by Sunday morning, Robert had a signed contract. The house was sold. The entire transaction took less than a week. And here's the kicker. Robert estimates he saved 3% of the total sale price. That's the typical seller's agent commission. For most homes, that's thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. This story went viral immediately. News outlets across the country picked it up. Social media exploded with reactions. Some people called Robert a genius. Others said he was taking a massive risk. Real estate agents said the story was misleading. But nobody could deny one simple fact. The artificial intelligence worked. The house sold, Robert saved money, and that terrifies professional service providers everywhere. What ChatGPT actually did, the details matter. Let's break down exactly what ChatGPT handled in this transaction, because the details reveal just how sophisticated these artificial intelligence tools have become. First, strategic planning. Robert asked ChatGPT to create a comprehensive timeline for the entire sale. The artificial intelligence mapped out every step. When to start decluttering, when to make repairs, when to take photos, when to launch the listing, when to hold the open house. This kind of project management used to require either extensive personal experience or hiring a professional who'd done it hundreds of times. Now, artificial intelligence can generate a detailed plan in seconds. Second, renovation guidance. ChatGPT analyzed which improvements would deliver the best return on investment. It recommended repainting specific rooms. It explained which colors would appeal to buyers. It calculated estimated costs versus expected value increases. ChatGPT did it for free. Third, marketing creation. The artificial intelligence wrote compelling listing descriptions. It generated social media posts. It designed handouts for the open house. It even provided photography tips for showcasing the home online. ChatGPT handled it all. Fourth, multiple listing service coordination. ChatGPT walked Robert through the process of getting his property onto the MLS. Most homeowners think they can't access it without an agent. That's not entirely true. Flat-fee MLS services exist. ChatGPT helped Robert find and use them. Fifth, showing coordination. The artificial intelligence created templates for responding to buyer inquiries. It suggested optimal times for showings based on psychology and market research. It even helped Robert prepare his home before each viewing. Sixth, contract drafting. When offers came in, ChatGPT helped Robert understand them. It drafted counteroffers. It explained negotiation tactics. Now, here's an important detail that some headlines missed. Robert did hire a lawyer to review the contract and handle the legal documentation. The lawyer's fee was probably a few hundred to maybe $1,000. Compare that to a 3% commission on a $400,000 home. That's $12,000. Robert paid maybe $1,000 for legal review instead of $12,000 for full service representation. That's an $11,000 savings. And that's what has the professional world worried. The 3% that changes everything. Let's talk about that 3%, because this number is at the heart of why this story matters so much. For decades, the standard real estate commission structure in America was 6% of the sale price, 3% to the seller's agent, 3% to the buyer's agent. On a $400,000 home, that's $24,000 in commissions. On a $600,000 home, it's $36,000. Real estate agents argued this fee was worth it. They provided expertise, they handled marketing, they navigated complex negotiations, they managed all the paperwork, they protected clients from legal mistakes. But in 2024, major lawsuits challenged this commission structure. Courts questioned whether the 6% standard was fair to consumers. Suddenly, homeowners started asking a question they'd never seriously considered before. Do I really need to pay this much for these services? Enter artificial intelligence. ChatGPT and similar tools can now handle many of the tasks that justified those commissions. Strategic planning, marketing, paperwork, even some negotiation guidance. Robert's story proves it's possible. And when you save 3% on a home sale, we're talking about real money. Life-changing money for many families. That 3% could be a down payment on the next house. It could pay off debt. It could fund a child's education. It's not pocket change. And that's why Robert's story resonated so powerfully. In a time of high housing costs and economic uncertainty, saving 3% feels revolutionary. But it also raises difficult questions. The reality check, what the data actually shows. Before we declare the death of real estate agents, let's look at what the data actually tells us. According to the National Association of Realtors, only 6% of home sales last year were for sale by owner transactions. That's actually an all-time low. Despite all the technology available, fewer people than ever are selling homes without agents. Why? Because many people who try it discover it's harder than it looks. Here's another data point. The typical for sale by owner property sold for $380,000 last year. The typical agent-assisted sale was $435,000. That's a $55,000 difference. Even after paying a 6% commission on the higher price, the seller nets more money with professional help. The data doesn't prove that hiring an agent causes a higher sale price. It just shows a correlation. Critics point out a problem with this comparison. The future, artificial intelligence as assistant, not replacement. Here's the truth that most headlines miss. Artificial intelligence isn't replacing real estate agents. Not yet, anyway. It's changing what they need to provide to justify their fees. Think about it this way. 40 years ago, real estate agents were valuable partly because they had information regular people couldn't access. They knew what homes had sold for. They knew what properties were on the market. They had the only copies of the multiple listing service. Then, the internet arrived. Suddenly, anyone could look up home values online. Anyone could see listings. That information advantage disappeared. Did real estate agents disappear? No. They adapted. Now, artificial intelligence is arriving. It can handle routine tasks, project management, marketing creation, basic contract drafting. So real estate agents need to adapt again. They need to focus on what artificial intelligence can't do well: complex negotiations with difficult personalities, reading emotions and adapting strategy in real time. Every professional service faces the same choice: adapt and integrate artificial intelligence, or resist and become obsolete. What this means for other industries. Let's expand our view. Because real estate is just the beginning. This disruption is coming for every knowledge-based profession. Take accountants. For decades, they prepared tax returns. Now artificial intelligence can answer complex tax questions. What's left? High-level tax planning. The routine work is being automated away. Or consider lawyers. Artificial intelligence is getting remarkably good at research and document creation. It can search millions of legal documents in seconds. It can draft contracts based on templates. This inverts everything we thought we knew about which jobs were safe from automation. Artificial intelligence is coming for knowledge work faster than physical work. It turns out teaching a machine to write a contract is easier than teaching it to fix a leaking pipe. Think about that as we move forward. Now let's address a fascinating question. What happens to companies like Zillow, Realtor.com, and Redfin in this new world? These platforms built their businesses on information. They aggregated property listings. They provided home value estimates. They connected buyers with sellers and agents. But if artificial intelligence can guide someone through an entire home sale, do we need these platforms anymore? The answer is complicated. These companies aren't standing still. They're already integrating artificial intelligence into their services. Zillow uses machine learning to generate home value estimates. Redfin uses algorithms to match buyers with properties. They're becoming artificial intelligence companies themselves. But here's their vulnerability. They're middlemen. They sit between buyers and sellers. They make money by controlling information flow and charging fees for connections. What happens when artificial intelligence can directly connect buyers and sellers? When ChatGPT can analyze the entire housing market and recommend properties? When it can handle negotiations without a platform facilitating the connection? These companies need to provide value beyond simple information aggregation. Maybe they focus on trust and verification, making sure sellers actually own the properties they're listing, screening buyers to prevent fraud, providing insurance and guarantees for transactions. Or maybe they become the artificial intelligence providers themselves. Instead of competing with ChatGPT, they build their own specialized real estate artificial intelligence tools that do the job better because they have access to proprietary data. The companies that figure this out will survive. Those that don't will go the way of newspaper classified ads. Remember when people paid to list homes in the newspaper? That business completely disappeared when Craigslist and other online platforms arrived. The same disruption could happen to current real estate platforms if they don't adapt fast enough. Will real estate agents exist in 10 years? Let's tackle the big question directly. Will real estate agents still exist in 10 years? The answer is almost certainly yes, but there will be far fewer of them, and the ones who remain will work very differently than agents do today. Here's why some agents will always be needed. Real estate transactions involve huge amounts of money and complex emotions. People are buying and selling their homes. These are deeply personal decisions. Even when artificial intelligence gets very sophisticated, many people will want a human they trust guiding them through the process. Someone who can read the emotional undercurrents in a negotiation. Someone who can give reassurance when problems arise. Someone who takes responsibility if something goes wrong. Artificial intelligence can assist with these things. But humans will want other humans involved. However, the number of agents will likely decrease, maybe significantly. Instead of over 1 million real estate agents in America, maybe we drop to half that number. The remaining agents will handle more transactions using artificial intelligence assistance. They'll be more productive. We might see a two-tier system emerge: high-end agents and lower-cost AI-assisted agents. The middle might disappear, the agents who provide moderate service for moderate fees, because artificial intelligence will make that level of service either unnecessary or too expensive. Young people entering the real estate industry today need to think carefully. The career path that existed for the past 50 years might not exist in the future. Success will require different skills: technology expertise, the ability to manage artificial intelligence tools, specialization in complex transactions or niche markets. The days of making a good living as an average agent handling routine transactions are probably ending. Think about what that means for your future. The broader warning for all professionals. Robert Levine's story is making waves because it's not really about real estate. It's about the future of professional services in general. For centuries, professionals built careers on specialized knowledge. Doctors knew about medicine. Lawyers knew about law. Accountants knew about taxes. This knowledge was hard to acquire and hard to access. But artificial intelligence is democratizing knowledge. It's making expertise available to everyone. Not perfectly, not without limitations, but good enough for many situations. This changes the fundamental value proposition of professional services. You can't justify high fees just because you know things anymore. Artificial intelligence knows things too, and it's getting smarter every day. Professionals need to offer something artificial intelligence can't provide: human connection, emotional intelligence, creative problem solving, accountability, and trust. Here's a prediction. In 10 years, the highest paid professionals won't be those who know the most facts or can execute standard procedures best. Those tasks will be largely automated. The highest paid professionals will be those who can combine artificial intelligence tools with human judgment, who can use technology to handle routine work quickly, freeing up time for complex strategy. The professionals who fight against artificial intelligence and insist on doing everything the old way will lose. They'll be too slow and too expensive compared to competitors who embrace the technology. The winning strategy is synthesis. Use artificial intelligence for what it does best. Focus human effort on what humans do best. Create value through the combination that neither could achieve alone. So what does all this mean for you? Whether you're a professional, a consumer, or an investor, here's what you need to know. If you're a professional, start experimenting with artificial intelligence tools now, not next year, now. Learn how ChatGPT and similar tools can assist your work. Figure out which of your tasks they can handle and which require your expertise. Develop a hybrid workflow that makes you more productive and valuable. Position yourself as someone who uses cutting-edge tools rather than someone being replaced by them. Make yourself the person who understands both the technology and the human side. If you're a consumer, don't be afraid to try do-it-yourself approaches. Selling a home? Maybe try the artificial intelligence route if your situation is straightforward. If you're an investor, pay attention to which companies are adapting to this shift and which are resisting. Companies that integrate artificial intelligence successfully will thrive. The bottom line. Robert Levine sold his house in 5 days using ChatGPT. He saved thousands of dollars by skipping the real estate agent. It's proof that artificial intelligence has reached a tipping point. It can now handle professional-level tasks that we assumed required human expertise. This changes everything. The professionals who survive will be those who adapt, who use artificial intelligence as a tool, who focus on the human elements that machines can't replicate. Robert Levine's 5-day home sale is a warning shot. Not a death knell, but a signal that change is here. The question is whether you'll adapt fast enough to thrive. Think about that. Talk about it. And start preparing for it now. Because the future isn't coming. It's already here. And it sold a house in Florida in just 5 days.